All right, good evening and welcome to the October 10th, 2023 meeting of the Marshfield Planning Board. The time is now 7:01 p.m. Tonight's meeting is being recorded by MCTV, and we are holding a live remote meeting via Zoom. Tonight's members here tonight are Katie O'Donnell, Nick Papastratus will be absent, Fred Monaco, Kevin Cantwell. I am Mike Viviano, the chair, and also with us tonight is Scott DeCastro, our associate member, Greg Guimon, our town planner, and Karen Horn, our assistant town planner. At this time, I'll make a motion to open tonight's public meeting and waive the reading of the notice. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell. Aye, Katie O'Donnell.
Thanks, Katie. Nick's not here. Fred?
Fred Monaco. Aye.
Kevin?
Kevin Cantwell, aye.
And Mike Viviano, aye. All right, first on the agenda tonight is the public hearing for the zoning articles. I'll let Greg take over.
All right. I don't know if you want to make a motion to open the public hearing for this public hearing.
Yep. I'll make a motion. We open the public hearing for the zoning articles for the fall town meeting and waive the reading of the notice. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell. Katie O'Donnell, aye.
Fred?
Fred Monaco. Aye.
Okay, Kevin?
Kevin Cantwell, aye.
And Mike Viviano, aye. Okay, Greg?
All right. You guys can see the screen?
We can.
Okay. So the public hearing tonight is on Article 12 of the Fall Special Town Meeting, and it's regarding the recent FEMA Loma map changes 4/10/23 and 8/9/23. The April change, we got notice of that. It affects 29 homes are coming out. They're the ones in green, and 7 homes are coming into the flood zone. They're shown in pink. I'll focus mainly on the ones that are coming in, which is 24 White's Ferry Landing, 20 C Street, 12 C Street, 1277 Ferry, 1309 Ferry, 1323 Ferry, and 4 Ireland Road. I'm just going to show an example of the changes on the map. If you see, this is the online mapping. You can notice it says on the upper right, current FEMA map from July 6, 2021. And you can see that the box just above it, which is the current FEMA map for April 10th, 2023, is not clicked on. The next slide, you can see a lighter shade of teal now in now that I have the April 10th layer on, and you can see that 24 White's Ferry Landing is now in, and also 1277 is now in the flood zone. And that's how we were able to determine the map changes for those properties. The August FEMA change, we do not have the online part of that on our mapping yet, but fortunately, 5 homes are coming out of the flood zone and no properties are coming in. And the area is outlined in that green outline right along 139, which is also in that section known as Dyke Road. The houses that are coming out are 11 Ashburton, 9 Brighton, 70 Dyke, 78 Dyke, 82 Dyke Road. And that's pretty much the information on the FEMA map changes. And I'll stop sharing. I don't know if you guys have any questions on that.
I don't have any.
Nope.
No, those are.
Mike, I'm not showing any members of the public on the Zoom call.
Yeah, is there any members from the public at all on here for this? Yeah, it doesn't look like anything, Greg. I don't see anyone else.
Okay. And I don't see anything on chat.
Okay. Is there anything else on that public hearing at all, Greg?
Nope. So if you guys wish, you can close the public hearing and then vote your, if you want to recommend it for approval at town meeting.
Any questions from the board? If not, I'll make a motion that we recommend that this gets moved at our next fall town meeting. And I'll have this in the same, well, I guess I'll take that vote first, then I'll close the hearing. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell, aye.
Fred,
Fred Monaco, aye.
Kevin,
Kevin Campbell, aye.
and Mike Viviano, aye. Okay, thank you. Now I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing for the zoning articles. And I'll second it. I'm sorry. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell, aye. Katie O'Donnell.
Fred,
Fred Monaco, aye.
Kevin,
Kevin Campbell, aye.
and Mike Viviano, aye. Okay, let's move on. We're not going to do C, so we're not going to do the lot release for Mill Creek. We're skipping that. And I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes 8/21/23. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell, aye.
Fred,
Fred Monaco, aye.
Kevin,
Kevin Campbell, aye.
and Mike Viviano, aye. Board report, Greg?
So I was going to give you an update on the, now if I can get it back on, screen 2, on the housing public hearing that we had, which will also kind of hit the 40B status for the town and what we're working on with the MBTA zoning changes for the April town meeting. Hold on a second. Here we go. Can you see the screen?
We can.
All right. Fortunately, a slide ahead of time. Okay, so during the public meeting, we covered the updating of the housing section of the master plan. We gave an update on the 40B status of the town, and we also asked a lot of questions about the zoning changes for the MBTA. So we finally got the 2020 census numbers for occupied housing units, which is how the state comes up with its subsidized housing inventory, which is the SHI, which is where you get your 10% status for affordable housing. And you can see on the bottom in yellow, we have dipped to 775 from 833. Actually, it is lower, less of a dip than I thought we were going to have. And that's partially because a lot of our construction has been tear down and new construction of old house lots in the last few years. It is the SHI is only updated every 10 years when the new census measures come out. Where we are with the surrounding towns, you can see Hanover is the only one currently above the 10% in our surrounding towns. Possible changes, well, one of them will happen shortly. That SHI numbers does not include the Veterans House, which is 8 additional units. That will get us up to 7.82. Mill Creek will be starting construction next month. It will take 2 years to fully get all the 270 units finished and occupied. But that will put us over 10%. And during the 2 years of construction, we will have safe harbor because of the amount of units that were approved. In addition to that, we also have 2 other approved 40Bs that have not been built. Bridle Path, which is off of Ferry Street. We have a new owner that's expected to be coming in for a modification shortly for that property. And then Webster Point, which has been kind of sitting dormant for a long time because they've been having problems with their CRs, conservation restriction on the open space. If Webster Point is done, that would put us at 11.03. So we would be over our 10% quite a bit with those projects. A number of times in the past, we've been asked about the GLAM. And Karen has worked very hard on it and has come up with our GLAM. In order to, so under the Chapter 40B law, you have two ways of addressing 10%. One, you have more than 10% of your housing units that are affordable with the state restrictions on resale, et cetera. Or two, if 1.5 of your land area has affordable housing on it, that one goes forever. It's not every 10 years it could change. Once you have that, you're good to go. And then you would only have to worry about 40Bs that you wanted to have and that you had a lot more say in how they're developed. We're currently at 1.27. However, if you add the open space that we've recently acquired in the last year and a half, both the Red Gull Farm and the like 33 acres of marsh over by Wrexham Beach, plus you add those three Mill Creek and the other two 40Bs that have not been built, we would be very close to the 1.5 GLAM. The way the state works, you can only officially get the GLAM once an applicant submits a 40B, and then the town has a very limited time to basically redo what Karen's done and submit that to the state. And once the state reviews it and says, yes, you got it right, then you would reach that GLAM requirement. Now we're going to jump over to the MBTA Communities Act. So the state changed their guidelines in August. There was no public hearings, no notice or anything. And the primary change is that they've added 13 discretionary grants, of which, if you look at them all, the last three are possible grants, or two of the last three, K and L, are possible grants that maybe in the future we might want to do. M, we have used twice in the past, which is the MVP grant, which we did to, one, get our MVP status. And then the second grant was to do that long-term coastal resiliency study. So as we mentioned before, Karen had done all the mapping. We'd figured out what the excluded and sensitive areas are. We tried to keep it to the GATRA, since we do not have a train station within a half mile in this town, MBTA. We followed the GATRA transit route. The state likes it to be walking distance to stores and services, either villages or downtowns, or along commercially zoned areas. So after we did all that, we couldn't find an area. We went back and looked at it a second time, and we followed these bullets here, which was pretty similar to the state. And we came up with a possible area, which is the north side of 139. From basically on the right side would be direct granite, and then the far left to the west would be at the intersection of School Street and 139. One of the issues is this is in a sensitive, what the state calls a sensitive area, which is, it's in a WRPD, which is a zone 2 for both Union Street wells and Furnace Street wells. The area that we're working on is 88 acres and exceeds the land area requirement. And it also exceeds slightly by about 100 units or so the unit requirement that we have to make sure that can happen with it. We did not get the original action plan in before that January 31st date, but we had finished it after we finished all the public meetings and stuff. We did submit it, and the state in April said, yes, you got the interim compliance. The state still expects us to have a MBTA community by right zoning change submitted and approved by town meeting by December 31st, 2024. And we're still in the process of working on that project. So that's the update on the housing meeting. And then two other items. We received notice today, after 3 years of effort, we have gotten the cesium grant for actual beach nourishment of Bay Ave. But we have a very short time frame, basically about a month, to put it all together and start the beach nourishment, because we have a limited window in the winter from November until I think it's March, early March, that we have to get all this material on the beach. We are working with Duxbury as well, and Duxbury Reservation. So this is going to be quite a large renourishment. It will not be the full design amount. It'll be about, for Marshfield, about 60%. So instead of about 90 feet at high tide from the seawall out to where the water would be, we're going to be in around 55 feet distance between, at high tide, the edge of the water and the seawall, which is still pretty good and will provide a lot of protection. And then the last item, didn't know if you wanted to handle it tonight or if you wanted to have a quick 10-minute meeting before town meeting next, or not next week, but the following week. The Open Space Committee is looking to see if the planning board would vote support purchase of 2160 Ocean Street. And that would allow the expansion of, and I'll put that up on the screen. That would allow the expansion of the South River Park. That property, Mike, you know it well. So we would expect, you would sit out on this vote, but the Open Space Committee wanted to know if the planning board wanted to vote support of the acquisition for the fall town meeting, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Just for full disclosure, one of my family members owns the property, selling it to the town.
Okay.
Do you guys want to do a vote on that? Because I can do the roll call. I just will recuse myself of voting. Or do you want to wait till the night of town meeting?
I mean, Mike, CPC is going to vote next week on it. I think I'd prefer to do it the night of town meeting, just
Yeah, that's fine.
just for because I'm on CPC, so I don't want to presuppose everything, But I think that makes sense.
I get no say in it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to vote tonight or before a town meeting, but I think if we'd have like a vote of the whole board, except for Mike, I think we could do it either time.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's just wait till the night of town meeting. So, so Kevin's comfortable too.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll do that before town meeting, Greg.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Anything else, Greg or Karen?
That's it for me.
Anything
Nothing
from the
for
board
me.
at all? Okay, seeing nothing, I'll make a motion to close tonight's meeting. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell, aye.
Let's see, Fred. You're muted, Fred.
You're muted, Fred.
Fred Monaco, aye.
There we go. Kevin
Kevin Cantwell, aye.
and Mike Viviano, aye. All right, thank you everyone for attending. We'll see you before town meeting.
Thanks. Good night, everybody.
All right,
Night.
thank you.
Everyone.